Oh, it worked. YouTube was just giving me a hard time. I was like, don't you dare. I was like, don't you dare defy me. It didn't. It listened. All right. So first things first, welcome if you are new to the channel. Welcome back if you love me. I love you too. Don't forget to drop likes and support the channel in that way if you may. I appreciate it greatly. And know that we are doing an Eternally Grateful giveaway if you are not familiar with what that is. I did a whole video on it. It is linked in the description if you want to check it out. The only way to get into the giveaway is to sign up as a Divine Rebel Diamond member. Okay, it is not that bad. It's only $5.99 to join. That's it. And every month that you stay in it between now and Thanksgiving Day here in the States enters you another chance to win. So your name goes into the raffle multiple times the longer you're in the giveaway. And everything that is involved in the giveaway is linked inside that video, so you guys can watch that after this one. The link to join is also down there in the description for you. Okay, now if you didn't catch the cute little memo, I have no filter. I'm a raw, real reader. All right. I care a whole lot more about insights that will help you further yourself on your highest good path and your healing within yourself, being fulfilled and happy with your life and with who you are, right? Loving who you are and the choices that you make for you. Then I care about your feelings. So I will say things that, you know, could possibly trigger you. All right, my best advice is to not listen around kids and listen with open ears and open heart and open mind, right? Beyond just the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay, I'm a Sagittarius. All right, I'm bringing out Pineapple Charming today as well. I'm guided to do 3 different readings, and I thought it was interesting that I gave the heads up to this video because I feel like this video is also a heads up for some people. Mind you, if you want collective heads ups every week, I do them for my Divine Rebel members. Matter of fact, I will be doing one tomorrow. I do them every Saturday, the Weekly Duality Reports. You guys can see the pictures of the spreads that I do every week on the community tab if you're interested and want to just kind of derive your own vibe off the readings just from the pictures. You could do that, but if you want, you know, my whole live streamed message that comes through, I do that every Saturday. But I'm going to pull some Pineapple Charms because these Pineapple Charming is intended to help you discern. So for those of you who have a hard time with discernment, who are getting used to using your discernment, right? Your intuitive ability to resonate to certain readings. Like, is it meant for me? Is it not meant for me? Maybe it's for someone else. Like Pineapple Charming is to help you so that, you know, if you really do need a message and spirit really does want you to receive it, certain synchronicities will come out of this pineapple to say, hey, you really can't ignore this. The synchronicities that came out are kind of uncanny. You know, maybe just one of them speaks to you. Maybe multiple charms end up speaking to you. But the whole point is that spirit can kind of like bitch slap you and say, hey, pay attention. Now, if none of the charms resonate with you, that's fine. You're probably in trust with your own discernment. And or it is not an emergency, right? Because even if you are good with your own discernment, sometimes it's kind of like spirit coming through in divine time when it needs to come through, and you really can't get distracted and miss it. And so the charms will come out to help you not miss what you need to receive, right? There will be timestamps in the comments after for the 3 readings, including their pineapple charm. So after the live is done, I'll go back in and put it in the comments. It'll probably be for my second YouTube account, which is Violet A Myths, right? So you'll see the timestamps down there, and we're going to see who needs a heads up in regards to whatever comes out. All right, so we're going to start with reading number 1. Let me see. We're going to use this deck. All right, we're going to use that deck. Okay, we're going to use that deck. All right. Reading number 1. I am using the Naked Heart Tarot. Okay. I'm also using my Energy Oracle cards and the Shaman's Dream. So you may just resonate to the decks and like the decks. All right, let me see if I can do some finagling. Those are the 3 decks. All right, so you might just resonate to the decks in general and like them. But those are the ones I'm going to use for reading number 1. I don't know if Spirit will guide me to different decks for reading number 2. We're just going with whatever Spirit fucking tells me. So let's see. I gave Pineapple Charming a good shake off camera. And I'm going to leave the charms out between readings. All right, so the same charms are not going to go back in the pineapple in between. And we're just going to kind of take it from there. It will all obviously go back in after all the readings are done. So we've only got a few charms for reading number 1. We've got the owl. Okay. We've also got Toad, our mushroom man. Right. I've also got Amethyst. That's my amethyst crystal charm. As well as a rose. So it might be your favorite flower. You might have the name, right? Your name might be Rose. It could be a middle name. Someone may have given you flowers and there was roses in there recently. I've also got a sewing needle. Okay, so you may have been sewing or a seamstress or just work with fabrics. I've also got my panda. It's a panda charm. Okay. And then I also have the 5 of spades. Oh God, I just totally got dressed and ready to go live and I did not scrub the steel dust out of my fingernails. So I'm going to attempt to remember to use my left hand to show things because there's still dust under my nails. It's awful. Let's see. And then the 5 of spades, which is the 5 of swords. All right. So the 5 of swords is an energy of conflict or argument, especially inside your own head or when you're having a tete-a-tete with people. So, and because I felt the need to mention the fact that I have steel dust under my nails, and that's like a huge peeve of mine, you might be dealing with the fact that people are ticking off your like pet peeves. Okay. You might be really dealing with that when it comes to the 5 of swords. Like you might really be peeving certain things and they're triggering it and you're like trying to keep your cool, but you can't help the fact that it's a major fucking peeve. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like I personally, like given I understand that some guys have like dirty nails from their job, you know, more than ever because I work with fucking steel and fabrication all day. So my nails, they get fucking dirty. So I understand why it happens. But if a guy were to try and touch me in my feminine places and have dirt under his nails, oh no, honey, you're not touching me. Like, you know, like certain fucking peeves that you're just like, no, no, like I don't like it when guys spit either. I think it's disgusting. Like, why are you doing that? I don't like spitting. So like it could be something that someone's doing is really peeving you out and it pisses you off. Maybe, you know, they leave the toilet seat up and you got to fucking touch it and it grosses you out and peeves you out every fucking time. You know, like, who knows what your peeve is, right? Who knows what your peeve is? Maybe your peeve is fucking lateness and you can't stand that someone's fucking late because you feel it's disrespectful and a waste of your fucking time. I 100% get it. All right. So that might be where the 5 of spades is coming from. So let's see. Usually I read my energy oracles first, but Spirit's telling me tarot first. So we're going to go with that. I trust Spirit. I don't fucking argue with Spirit. So let's see. What's going on with heads up number 1? What's going on with heads up number 1? That Spirit wants to reach them today. Today being divine time, whenever you're meant to catch it in the spiral of things, right? Because y'all's today might be different than someone else's today. Someone else's today might be your tomorrow. So what is going on? So you may have been getting signs and synchronicities a lot, actually. We've got 818 here. So you may be having synchronicities with 818. It could be involving something that happened on August 18th. Or 818 just might be a synchronicity for you in general, because we have the 8 of Wands with the 10 of Wands and the 8 of Cups. That's 818, right? Because the 10 breaks down to a 1. Okay. I'm feeling this energy of someone racing forward. Someone's momentum is picking up. And someone else is probably or has been slow to come back. Because these two energies are walking towards each other. But the burden was in the middle, right? The spiritual burden or the heavy weight is in the middle. I feel like someone's synchronistically moving forward, probably following their pings, following their synchronicities. Would not be surprised if it's you, the viewer, right? Because you keep up on energies like this and are open to things like readings and different, you know, talks on YouTube. You're obviously in a state of forward momentum, but the big bear energy is a little bit slower than the gazelle. And I feel like whatever this energy was trying to build is slowly coming down around them. And I think they know it's coming down. I think they could feel it coming down. You may be sensing this personally, that, you know, the energy, something's going on in the energy and you're picking up on it intuitively, even if you don't know exactly what it is. But something's coming down. I think it was a dream or a vision that someone was building and then realized that that dream or vision is not going to happen. You know, it's, you can only do so much as an individual, and then everything else depends on the other people and whether or not they're in alignment with you moving forward in the highest good. And I think that there is a chance that someone may be moving back in your direction. I'm going to pull some more cards, but I feel like if you stop and humor the bear for too long, right? If you're the gazelle, if you stop and humor the bear for too long, it's going to stop your momentum, right? Your speed. And ultimately the bear might make a meal out of you. Okay. Let's get some more insight. Clarify the 8 of Wands, the 10 of Wands, and the 8 of Cups. Yeah. Okay. So the Gazelle, right, the 8 of Wands comes out with the movement of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles, and is typically a slow-moving knight. So it may have taken you a while to get into your groove, and now you're solid, right, which is why you're moving at the speed you're moving, because you're moving at a very high speed, but with solidity. So you've reinforced your energetic vibration with confirmation, affirmations, following your synchronicities, right? Trusting yourself quite a bit. The 10 of Wands or the burden comes with the 2 of Swords, which is a crossroad, right? And not being sure if it's a place you want to anchor in. The 8 of Cups is clarified by the Devil card. Okay, so this person coming back around may feel your forward progress, may feel your momentum, may feel that energetic distance, that gap getting really big between you and them, and they might be trying to slow you down and bring you back to their pace or their level or whatever. And I feel like this energy may have been toxic in the past with the Devil here. Or it may have been very transactional or conditional, something that you get what you give, but in a very controlling type of way, or an imbalanced kind of way, right? Where it was more a power and control thing. Like someone who would give you certain things, like it wasn't all bad, right? The dynamic between the two of you wasn't all bad. There were some good moments, but you had to give a lot and sacrifice a lot for those good moments, which ultimately, I mean, that's breadcrumbing, right? That's breadcrumbing. When someone gives you, throws you a bone here and there with a good memory, but the vast majority of them are really hard, really stressful, really painful, really restrictive, right? Really heavy. Every once in a while, there's a light that breaks through the clouds kind of thing. I feel like whoever this person was, you obviously moved away from this energy, whoever they were to you, and they feel you're moving forward. If you didn't catch the video that I did, the live that I did, talking about twin souls, you might want to check that out. And Mary Rose, you were in here before. Welcome back. I'm sorry, I just totally got pulled out for a second there. I thought something different. Sorry, I was like, what? That's your name. I was like, I thought for a second there that you were spamming in my chat, like promoting your business, like Dog Trainer Good Decision, dog training. And I was like, I've seen you before say that exact same thing. Like, you know how bots will come in the chat and say the same thing. And I was just like, I've seen you before. And then I realized, wait a minute, that might be your name. So welcome back. It is good to see you back. Hey, Lala, how you doing? My bad, y'all. Oh my God. But you know what? Maybe. That being a part of the message now, it's probably good to just be on guard of your energy, right? And recognize what is good and what is not, moving forward with certain people. Like, for example, right? Speaking about dogs and training. Mary, I'm so glad, especially because your name is Rose. We had that Rose synchronicity come in with the charms. I'm glad you're here. Like, this is perfect. So we're talking about synchronicities, right? She trains dogs, right? Dog trainer, good decision dog training. And it's like needing to train yourself, dogs being a loyalty synchronicity, right? Training yourself to be loyal to yourself, your path, your highest good, right? Training yourself to not question your goals, right? Because Capricorn energy with the devil can also synchronize goals. But knowing what your goals are and then training yourself to hit them goals, right? So that it becomes second nature. You don't think twice about it. You know, when you tell a trained dog to sit, it sits like second nature. It's just second nature. It just does it. It doesn't think about it first. It just becomes second nature, right? Because you've trained the dog. So with the self, it's no different. Like I'm consciously working on, like, as a human example, right? Training myself to not deal with alcoholics, right? People who deal with addictions. I suffer a great deal of PTSD around people who drink, right? And you can be a friend of mine, you could be a coworker, colleague, and you can drink in front of me. That's fine. But when I'm in a relationship with you, right? Yeah, Capricorn's your soon ex. Yeah. Yeah. Walking away, right? That 8 of Cups. But I've had to train myself, like, even now, like, I got asked out on a date. I'm gonna let y'all get real personal with me for a minute. So I got asked out on a date, and he's a really nice guy, right? He's really, really nice. And but I know that he drinks, and I know that he overdoes it. So I'm willing to at least go and have a good conversation with this gentleman because he warrants a good conversation. But it's training myself not to put it off, right? Not to put off the conversation, like, respectfully, this is his time, like, given we're going to go out to have a cup of coffee. It's nothing major. But at least to talk, because we need to find out if we have basic incompatibilities. You know, like, I'm a straight edge person. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink. You know what I mean? I don't misuse medication. I rarely ever take ibuprofen unless I have to. Like, I'm one of those people. And I don't want to be, I'm incompatible, right? Especially with my history. Like, I am incompatible with an addict. It's a basic incompatibility. Like, we can have great chemistry, we can have great conversation, we can have awesome things in common, but at the end of the day, that's a really hard boundary, right? A really hard line that I'm training myself not to cross, right? So when we're talking about this energy, this is about establishing boundaries and really training yourself to be loyal to the self. You know, you cannot say or excuse, well, maybe it's different this time. You know, because I had a conversation with my son who was actually surprisingly adamant about me giving this guy a shot, and he didn't know why. It's just he felt like I needed to give the guy a good shot. But I was explaining to my son, like, yeah, all of the circumstances with different alcoholics were different, right? My dad was an alcoholic. It affected me a certain way. I had a different kind of alcoholic that in one relationship that affected me a certain way. I had a relationship with my most recent ex, and their alcoholism resulted a certain way. And every single time I was with somebody who drank, like, they were always different, right? The alcohol affected them different. Their behavior was predictable for them, but it was different than the last person, right? Everybody drank and became a different person than the last. But at the end of the day, they were still all addicts. right? They were all still liars. They were all still in denial. They were all still wildly insecure. You know what I mean? And so, and I'm done. I'm done. Putting myself through those cycles, right? I have established healthy boundaries with my own self-loyalty that is becoming second nature. You know, I deserve to live a beautiful partnership with someone who is not going to trigger feelings of not being safe, right? That my emotions are, and my heart is not going to feel unsafe, or that my home or my place of residence is not going to be compromised, right? Because someone has addictions, and, you know, logic and reason can go out the window. The notion of consequence can go out the window for that instant gratification of nurturing the addiction, right? And I understand that it is not, you know, entirely anybody's fault that addiction is a disease, which is a dis-ease, which means the only way to conquer the dis-ease and the disease of addiction is to really comprehend and heal the dis-ease that creates it, right? That you would have to heal the insecurities, or heal, you know, the feelings of unworthiness, or the feelings of, you know, fears of abandonment, or whatever it is that, you know, sparks it. Hey Rita, how you doing? And you know, I believe it's possible. You like, I was not always straight edge. I at one point was a pack a day cigarette smoker. I was never, you know, a alcoholic per se, but there were definitely patterns where I abused it a couple times. And I smoked weed from the time I was 16 until the time I was 35. I had just turned 35 when I quit. So it's been 2 years that I've been like dead ass sober, you know, like dead ass, like straight edge. But I had to do a lot of healing to overcome those things. And when I did, I cut cold turkey, right? When I did, I literally quit cold turkey, and never looked back, never missed it. Don't even think about it like that ever since, right? Because the inner work was done. So like, is it possible? Is it possible to like attract like, connect with somebody that is on your wavelength? It's inevitable, right? You're going to connect with people that are on your vibrational level. This energy is about determining what your energetic vibration is, right? What is your energetic vibration? Can you train yourself and have it be second nature to be in a higher vibration? Because whatever is coming back towards you, you're going to have to discern whether or not it is moving in the same direction with you. And that's why it's coming back in, because they found themselves in alignment the same way you're in alignment. And you guys went through some healing on different paths together, and found yourself somewhere in the middle. Or, and more likely so, just because of these cards here, is it just a test from the divine, right? That you have set up for yourself, that you have manifested in for yourself, so that you know beyond a doubt that you have overcome a certain frequency, right? That you have trained yourself out of the old vibration, right? That this person or this energy or this situation would literally come back in, because that would have been what broke you and took you off path every time. And now you are literally manifesting it back in just to solidly define your new vibration, right? That you would have it right in your experience, right in your face again, and be able to say, no, this is my hard line. Right? If you're going to move forward with me, then it has to be on this term, because I'm unwilling to bend, break, or cross this line that I've made with myself in support of myself and love of myself for my highest good. It will never be in my highest good to align with an addict. It will never be in my highest good to align with an addict. Someone who is actively in their addiction, no. Can I connect with someone who's recovered from addiction, who, you know, will always consider themselves an addict, but is not actively feeding their addiction, right? They're not actively partaking in alcohol. Maybe they haven't for years, right? Maybe they don't, you know, smoke weed, or they've let go of their cigarette habits. And, you know, they went through a whole, you know, era in their life where drugs were everything. Like, you know, let's get stoned. And it was just like, you know, and that was their life then, but they've completely turned over a new leaf and transformed, you know, which is the beauty of Scorpionic energy and this whole, you know, generation that a lot of us have come out of with this Pluto and Scorpio, right, time that we've had in there. Pluto and Scorpio was like wild. The generation that I grew up in, I mean, drugs were everywhere, and the evolution of drugs and how to do them was fucking crazy. You know, so I can understand someone who's gone through a period in their life where it was all about their drugs. But if you know, you got to, point being, and I'm not going to go on a crazy tangent any more than I have, you know, point being, people can heal. It's just, do you trust your own alignment? Do you trust your discernment, and that the vibration of who you're speaking to is in alignment? Because if you have to convince yourself, if you have to make an excuse for it, if you're like, I'm not entirely sure, and it's not like, you know what, it feels really easy, like I trust this, I absolutely trust this. If you don't trust it even just a little bit, like 99% is not 100, right? That 1% is going to be the 1% that spits in your face and you're like, fuck. You know what I mean? So like, whoever this is and whatever issue this is, do you really want to move forward with it? If it is in fact toxic, if it is in fact, right, we're talking about Capricorn and Pluto, right? Pluto and Capricorn is literally what's going on in the cosmos right now, right? Pluto is in Capricorn, retrograding and literally bringing up past demons for you to face and definitively say, no, I've elevated beyond that. Right? I've elevated beyond that. This is important right now because next year, when, you know, Pluto transits back through the last couple degrees of Capricorn and enters into Aquarius, it's going to stay there. And Aquarius is as above and so below. So your alignment is either going to completely transform for the better, because Pluto can be a blessing. Any malefic or misaligned planet can be a blessing if you're in the right alignment. If you, as above and so below, see the higher perspective of things and definitively choose your higher energy, Pluto is going to transform your reality in big and beautiful ways. If you don't, though, it's going to be extremely difficult, especially because Aquarius is a fixed sign, and whatever energy you're going through, Spirit is going to most likely teach you the fucking hard way, and you're going to be locked in this situation for the better of 15 to 20 years with Pluto going through Aqua. Like, if you didn't learn it by now, Spirit will make sure you fucking learn it by the time Pluto leaves Aquarius, right? So learn it now. Draw your healthy boundary now, right? Definitively choose better for yourself now, or it could haunt you for the next decade and a half to 2 decades. Like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, no, thank you. You know, it could be as simple as, you know, me deciding to go and give a shot to someone who's not ready, and, you know, developing a relationship with them, working on, you know, getting through their addiction with them, and then moving in and then having it be a horrendous experience. It just gets worse, but I can't get out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a locked in, fixed situation. And it's like, nah, like, I would rather sleep in my car than be stuck in a situation like that. Right? I've been there, done that. I'm damn near almost 40 years old. Like, I don't need to go through all that shit again. Like, I've been there, done it. I've lived it. I've experienced it. It's not my cup of tea. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be an addict, like, that's fine. Like, more power to you. That's your journey. Like, no judgment, but that is not my journey. I'm not on that path with you. You know, my path is going this way, high speed, like, and solid that way. Like, I'm not slowing down. I'm not turning around. I'm not hitting the rest stop for any longer than I gotta hit the rest stop. And I'm going to be right back at it, you know, on my journey. So you're either coming with or you're not, right? Let's see. The thinking woman. I'm using the energy oracle cards now. Angel of balance and angel of love. See, and you got to remember, like, the thinking woman, the woman is the feminine. Okay, the feminine aspect, the divine feminine aspect of the self. It's not necessarily female, although it can absolutely be that. Okay, but when we look at these cards together, like, you have to remember, when you choose your highest good, you will inevitably choose the highest good for everybody involved, right? When you choose your own healing, that ripples, it allows other people to heal, right? Like, for example, if I were to, you know, be with this person and not have that conversation, right? The date that I'm going on, if I were to not have that conversation and put it off, that's not necessarily going to help them heal, because it's not helping me heal, right? If I can't draw definitive boundaries that feel good for myself, they may not, in the ripple of things, be able to draw a healthy boundary that is good for themselves. You know, like, know that whatever you end up choosing, because we got angel of balance and angel of love here, when you choose to stay balanced within and not throw yourself into imbalance, you create more balance, right? With your energy, it ripples. So don't let whatever this is throw you off balance. Your ability to train yourself, that it becomes second nature, that your healing becomes second nature, that your healed state becomes your second nature. You will ripple that healing wherever you go and with whoever you interact with, right? It's like you being divinely placed wherever spirit would have your energy be best suited in the highest good of all at any given time, right? And that healing that you carry will ripple, because then other people are going to be like, wow, like, you know, I really like this person's energy, but they're not connecting with me. And it's because of this, you know, or it becomes a synchronicity and a pattern for them because maybe you made it really clear. Maybe they dated like 5 other people, or with 5, 6, a dozen other people that had an issue with certain things that they were doing, right? We were talking about peeves, right? Like pet peeves, things that get on your fucking nerves, can't do it, right? That create tete-a-tetes or head-to-head, you know, ego battles. Maybe they've been with multiple other people, but people just got frustrated, threw their hands up, left, goes to them, didn't explain it. And now all of a sudden, because you're in a healed state, you take the time to explain one full fucking sentence on why you're drawing a healthy boundary, because it's toxic. And if they want to keep doing it, that's fine, but you're not in, you know? And it's like, they might date another 5, 6 dozen people after you have that conversation with them. But the fact that you had it with them, at some point, they're going to be like, you know what? If I want more than this pattern, this 5, 6, 7 dozen times now that I've had this pattern, this result, maybe it is that. Maybe it is that. And so you might not never talk to this person again. You might never see them again. But the fact that you crossed their path at the time you did, in the way you did, in the vibration you did, it's like a little drop of healing magic in the rotten soup that was their energy. And that magic drop being in there long enough starts to clear out and change like magic, right? What's going on in there? Whatever it is that you're called to do with your healthy boundaries, that you have trained yourself into a higher vibration, you will absolutely and easily, like it's second nature to you, be able to respectfully but honestly tell people, this is why I can't move forward in a direction with you. It's not, it's not because I find you unattractive. I find you very attractive. It's not that I don't like your personality. I think you're an awesome person. But this in particular, I have drawn a solid line with myself with. I deserve better than experiencing what comes of that. And so nothing but respect to you, but we'd be wasting our time. It would end up resulting in what would be really painful, inevitably, because it's incompatible energy. It's high vibe trying to mix with low vibe, and that it doesn't work. It's incompatible energy. It's trying to force energies together that are not aligned, only for that, and they blow apart. At some point they will blow apart. You can't force two magnets together when they're not moving together. They either click or they don't. They're either compatible ends, or they're not. And the more you try and force it, it just blows apart and creates a hell of a lot of space, right? So it's no different, right? It's no different. Let's get the Shaman's Dream, because there's this is, this deck doesn't sugarcoat either. Okay, it's pretty straightforward, and I use it as guidance, but we'll do it for insight as well. So take it how it resonates. If you were drawn to heads up number 1. And then we'll get into the second reading. Yeah, the crossing. I shit you not. Initiation. Crossing a boundary. Not going backwards. This is the crossing. Wow. Card number 54. 5 being the number of momentum, and 4 being the number of stability, right? Which we literally talked about, momentum and stability. Hey, Christina, how you doing? Momentum and stability, right? Which ultimately results in a closed chapter. It's closed. Whatever you're moving forward in, your speed and your stability, it's closing a chapter. Right, which is the 9. It's closure. You're not going back to whatever energy you were in prior. This is a new you that has officially solidified as second nature, right? So the rite of passage, initiation, it says, you have come to stand on one side of a river. The opposite bank leads into the darkness of the eternal cave, where the old dies and then is born again. This is a place where time is forgotten, and the seasons cease their dance and stand still, as if in a temporary repose. You must cross the river now, honoring and respecting this transition, for it's time to say goodbye to your old ways of navigating your world. Don't be afraid. You've come to the edge of the river because you're ready. You're ready to let go of what doesn't serve you and all the ways in which you've kept yourself from truly living. Intimacy requires vulnerability and truth. Can you strip away the masks and the barriers of false strength to discover what you're really made of? Step in the boat waiting for you. Let it carry you into the cave where the shadows are waiting to be illuminated, so you can be born again into the world without denial or artifice. Making the crossing is a beautiful, powerful act of the highest love. All right. I'm going to hold this up, so if y'all want to screenshot it, you can. That's the crossing. Okay. Interesting. It's on page 108 because we were talking about 8-1 synchronicities, right? Yeah. Other numbers out here. We've got multiple 4s, right? 47. Ooh, I just realized that. You know how many times I've used this deck and I've shuffled this deck? Now, the first card flew out, Thinking Woman, and I kept shuffling and got 2 more cards. We've literally got progressed numbers, 47, 48, 49. This is big progress. Big progress. Huge. Okay, huge. So 47, 48, 49, and then we got 54. So we got multiple 4s here. 11, 12, 13 is how those higher numbers break down. 2, 3, 4, right? That's progress. You're ascending from a place of inner balance, right, which is the 2, and ascending to the 4, which is balance, right? 3 is the ascension and 4 is the stability. So you're literally in alignment with yourself and ascending into it being second nature to where you don't even have to think about it. You just are, right? You just are. So for those of you who are watching this, or catching it in divine time, right? Whenever it is you're watching this, you're definitively choosing a certain vibration of self that it looks good on you. It looks really good on you. I'll just put it like that. The vibration looks real good on you. So you with your party energy. Hey. It's like looking in the mirror at your energy all, you know, fluffy butt and all. Just like, how you doing? How you doing? For real though. I love that. Oh, spirit works on divine time, doesn't it, Lala? It really does. Always on divine time. All right. So let's see. That is that. Is that. We're going to get into reading number 2. Spirit is definitely guiding me to different decks. So let me put these ones up. Otherwise, my table will end up looking like a card deck explosion. It most definitely would. It gets wild over here when you got, I don't know, a 500 billion decks. It gets crazy. It gets crazy. All right, that goes there. Oh, all right, Spirit. Reading number 2, we're going to use Kipper. We're also going to do the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, which I used for the September 2023 readings. So regardless if you're watching this now or at a later date, you might want to scroll through my videos and find your, I don't know, sun, moon, rising, Venus, whatever is important to you, and check out your September 2023 reading, okay? Because that's what I was guided to with this deck prior. Ooh. We're going to use my Icarus Tarot, all right, which is major arcana only. And then there's a couple special cards that are just for this deck. So, reading number 2, the heads up. Let's get Pineapple Charming. Back out here, mind you, I said I was not putting the previous charms back in. So those charms from reading 1 are off to the side. We're going to do all new charms for reading number 2. Okay, you can definitely, hey Tanya, how you doing? Love you. You may resonate with more than one reading, but I'm not putting the charms back in between reads. Okay, so let's see. We've got, get my pin board. We've got adopt, don't shop. So adoption may be synchronistic for you. Okay. We've also got the crab. So crabs may be synchronistic for you, especially if you got strong Cancerian energy. All right, Miss Tanya, enjoy your work day. We've also got Catholic Rosary. Okay. As well as my pineapple. We've got a white crystal pineapple here. We've also got, we've got two tarot cards. I've got the Wheel of Fortune and the Moon. All right, we got the Wheel of Fortune and the Moon there. So the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. The Moon is Piscean energy. It could also be Cancerian energy. So you may have a Jupiter in Pisces or Cancer. I've also got, well, I'll get closer into it, but I've also got Scorpio, Capricorn, Virgo, and Leo down here, which, you know, astrology charms I'll get to in a second. But you could have a strong Jupiter placement or a moon in one of those signs, right? That's interesting, Lala. That's interesting. So yeah, you could have either Jupiter or the moon in Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, or Leo. Wheel of Fortune can also be Sagittarius because it's Jupiter's sign. Although to be fair, Jupiter was also Pisces' original planet before Neptune. So Pisces could be really important to you. We've also got the red leaf. So it may be autumn when you're catching this, right? Wherever you live in the world, you might be in autumn or going into autumn. We've also got a lizard. All right, we've got a lizard, which also just reminded me of Jim Morrison, right? Because I believe his nickname was the Lizard King, and I don't know why it just reminded me of that. And then we've got, as far as like my little micro playing cards, I've got the 3 and the 4 of diamonds. Their tarot equivalents are the 3 and 4 of pentacles. All right. Which contracts, right? The 3 of Pentacles has a lot to do with contracts or works, jobs, whether they are mundane or spiritual, but coming out with the 4 of Coins, the 4 of Pentacles, right? The 4 of Diamond. I feel like this is works towards physical stability, right? Physical world stability, mundane stability. So this could definitely be money, finance, career related in general, especially if you've been having a struggle with solid money, extra money, or things revolving around partnerships that come through the 3D, right? Letters. Now I do, and this is just to make it super specific for some people who need it super specific, but the different letters that I have inside Pineapple Charming, there's 4 different colors. There is pink and blue for male and female, okay? And then there is black and white for yin and yang. White is yang and black is yin, right? Divine masculine heavy or divine feminine heavy, regardless of gender. Okay, or gender identification, right? Whatever resonates with you is fine. That is just to make it extra specific for those who need it that kind of specific. but you don't need to get actually hung up on the colors. Okay, the letters are important in and of themselves. So as far as letters go, I've got T and B in masculine energy and a C in feminine energy. All right, yang and yin energy. T, B, C. So those could be initials, they could be abbreviations to where you live, or something else that revolves around you specifically. Okay, that would make sense to you as to why those three letters came out. Like BC could be British Columbia, right? TB could be tuberculosis, right? So whatever ends up being abbreviated can turn into letter charms. Okay, so C, B, and T. Now, I've also got the astrology charms. Now, I've got Leo twice, so it could be super significant if you have double Leo placements, right? If you're like a sun and moon Leo, or a sun Venus Leo, or a rising Jupiter Leo, right? That you have two significant Jupiter placements. Or two significant Jupiter placements. That's impossible. If you have two significant Leo placements. All right. Same thing with Virgo. I have double Virgo here. So you may have at least two significant Virgo placements in your chart, especially with main planets or your big three, right? Sun, moon, and rising. I also have Capricorn and Scorpio. Okay, so you may have significant placements involving those signs as well. There could also be things going on with Pluto and Capricorn, and your natal Scorpio placements, and the fact that Leo and Scorpio are squared, right? Or the fact that Capricorn and Virgo trine. Like, there could be different things going on in the cosmos right now that are being highlighted on your chart. And Spirit is saying, hey, if this message resonates with you, you might want to actually look at the cosmological pattern of how what's going on when you catch this matters to your birth chart. Right. And kind of be like, oh, so that might be why I'm experiencing this, right? And kind of identify the planetary alignment going on that could be sparking certain things, right? So like right now, like I said, like Saturn is trining on my rising, but it's squaring my natal Saturn. You know, I'm going through a natal Jupiter square right now, which is a challenge I need to override, right? You know, so there are certain things going on that you will inherently be working through, you know, because my natal Jupiter is at 12 Aqua. It squares on the Jupiter going on right now in Taurus. It's two fixed energies that are squared. So, you know, there are things to be consciously aware of, because squares present challenges that you need to consciously override, right? Or consciously choose to elevate through. You have to understand what the challenge is, right? Depending on the body, the planetary body, and the sign it's in, right? Oh, good. Divine timing, Tanya. Love it. All right. So those are the charms for reading number 2. Now we're going to get into the cards. This, like I said, this could definitely be work related, especially because Virgo and Capricorn are both earth signs, and they kind of dominated the stuff coming out. Okay, so let's see what is going on. What heads up is coming from reading number 2? Courthouse. Okay, so it's definitely concerning some kind of legal matter or documentation. Okay, it doesn't have to be actually going to court, but it could definitely be some kind of legal documentation, some kind of written something that is important when your name is on it. You know what I mean? So we've got courthouse, and it could be, I mean, we're dealing a lot with mundane energy, but as above and so below. So there's obviously some different higher contracts either being reworked, rewritten, redefined, renewed, or fresh and new. Maybe there's old contracts that you have with certain people going out, right? You're coming out of that contract. And so, you know, figuring out what it is, energetically speaking. We've also got Distant Horizon, which came out in reverse. It's the only one of these cards that came out in reverse. And I don't typically have any of my decks with reversals in them. So when one does fly out in reverse, I tend to leave it and read it that way, right? Spirit had it flipped for a reason. So this is not something in the future. This could definitely be something that you're dealing with right now or soon, right? In the near future. We also have change, poverty, and main female. Okay. Really, Tanya. So, yeah, this could be something that you're dealing with immediately or in the near future. All right. And things are changing for certain people, right? Because when we are when we are in an energy of poverty, right? Poverty energy or poverty mindset, it is a lack mentality, right? It is poverty mindset. I'm afraid I'm going to do without. And so people will do things to avoid poverty that ultimately put themselves in a position of poverty, right? Like, for example, Tanya's a great example, right? She's dealing with people that are false documentation, right, at work. Well, if you're afraid of getting in trouble because you don't want to lose your job and you falsify something so that you don't get in trouble because you don't want to lose your job, but the falsification is discovered, you could lose your job, right? You could lose your job. So it's like, you know, being afraid of losing whatever is the problem, right? The poverty mindset is the problem, and that's what needs to change. We have to get into this main female energy, exactly like tracks like this is universal law, right? Law of attraction is a universal law for a reason. Yeah, you deal with it every day, right, Christina? You deal with it every day, right? This is about getting into your main female energy, which is your divine feminine energy, and trusting that spirit has your back and will give you and fulfill whatever your needs are, right? All the time, that spirit's got you. You don't need to worry about making it come from a certain way or a certain direction. Like if it's not in your highest good, it's not in your highest good. And if it is, it is. You know, like the gentleman that, you know, for example, that I was talking about in reading number 1 that I was, you know, going on a date with, or that I will be going on a date with. He makes good money, right? He's got a solid career. He makes good money. He's got his own house. But if I go into it for the stability, if I go into it for the money, and I negate the fact that I have a hard line and don't have that conversation for that reason, then I'm not trusting spirit has in store for me, whatever it has in store for me to receive. And I am literally derailing myself off my highest good path. I'm going down a detour, distraction that is going to drill into me why I should never fucking do that again. Right? So, you know, you really have to get into this main feminine energy, right? Where there is no other more powerful energy than trusting your divine feminine wisdom, right? The universe is always going to take care of me. I'm never going to go without. I'm never going to need for anything. You know, if spirit has it in my highest good to have a house, it will manifest me a house with, or the ability to obtain a house without crossing a boundary that I drew for myself. I won't have to break my hard and healthy lines. You know, if I'm meant to have something, spirit will bring it, and it will bring it at the right time. You know, there's no need to fear lack or loss of something. That's what needs to change, right? The fear of loss, the fear of lack, the fear of never obtaining it. I'll never be better off than I am right now unless I manipulate certain things and force things to happen. That's the mentality that needs to stop. whether that is work related, money related, or relationship related, right? Mundane 3D world related. Like I can't sit here and be like, I will never be in a house. I'm always going to be a renter. I'll forever have an apartment or rent from someone else, and I'll never have my own place. And it's like, if I have that mentality, then yeah, I'll see someone with a house and be like, fuck yeah, let's make it work. Let's force it to work. Let's make it work and ignore these red flags, because that's the only way that I'm going to get out of renting, right? Because my mentality is, I'm gonna be in lack, and I'm always gonna be in apartments, and I'll never have a house unless I manipulate it, right? But if that's poverty mindset, if I can accept that I might not have a house right now, and I may have never owned a house ever in my life, but I know damn right well I want a house. That's what I want. I want my own house. I want to feel good and safe in my home. And I trust that spirit will bring it to me in a certain way at the right time. It'll give me the means, the opportunity, or the highly aligned people that help me make it possible. And that's how it will come into my life, when the time and the alignment is right, because divine time is just divine alignment. Those are interchangeable. Time isn't fucking real. It's alignment. We call it divine time, but it is divine alignment. You can click into alignment whenever the fuck you want. I can trust that I don't have to cross my own healthy lines in order to manifest a house. I can just trust spirit will bring it when it's time. Spirit will bring it to me when I'm aligned. I just can't be detouring myself and trying to create shortcuts and, egoically forcing things with my divine masculine to create a reality against my divine feminine's better knowing. Right? Against my intuition, against my fuck yeah, fuck no, identifier. This is good for you and that's not. Right? We got to listen to our gut, our intuition. We got to listen to those energies. And as long as you stay in alignment with your highest good and don't cross the boundaries that you've literally created for yourself, you will always manifest your highest good. It's impossible not to. It's universal law. Why would you negate a red flag when negating a red flag feels like shit? It causes stress. It makes you doubt yourself. As you should. You fucking went against your intuition. Of course it's going to be a shit hits the fan moment at some point or another. You knew you should have done the right thing and you didn't. Like, I know that lying is not good, but I'm going to do it anyway. I know manipulation's not good, but I'm going to do it anyway. I know falsifying documents is not good, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like, you negated a red flag. Of course, the shit's going to hit the fan at some point. It has to. Your energy is in misalignment. People get surprised. They're like, I don't have anything. The rug got pulled out from under me. I don't know what to do. Like, but you did know what to do. You did know what to do, and you negated it because you doubted the fact that you knew what to do, which means you didn't know what you were doing. And now you're in a position where you don't know what to do. Like attracts like, right? If you don't want to be in a position where you don't know what to do, well, then stop choosing against your intuition. Yeah. Hell yeah, Tanya. Yeah, if it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no. 100%. 100%. 100%. All right. This is getting out of poverty mindset. You don't have to do without. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be financially. Like, you could be afraid that you'll never be respected. You could be afraid that you'll never be loved. You could be afraid that you'll never have the relationship that you want to have, or that people will never understand you. If you're afraid no one will ever understand you, it's because you don't understand yourself. If you're afraid that no one will ever respect you, it's because you have been disrespecting yourself, right? If you're afraid that no one's going to stick around and stay with you, it's because you haven't stuck around and stayed for yourself, right? Maybe you're drowning in a bottle and yourself has been drowned out. You're not even respecting yourself. You're drowning yourself in a bottle. So, like attracts like is a real thing, y'all. You can't blame the outer manifestation for being the reflection of your inner world. Like, you have to take ownership that if this is your manifestation, it's coming from somewhere internally. The mirror is reflecting back to you for a reason. It's just a matter of not getting upset at the reflection and literally observing the reflection for what it is and saying, okay, so how can I tweak that on the inside so that the universe starts to tweak it on the outside, right? How do I observe the outer and what I don't like and accept and own the fact that it's out there for me to witness and it's triggering me because there's something going on in here that I have to address. And if I address that, that outer issue is gone. Maybe you have a fucking liar in your reality. They're a pathological liar. So how are you lying to yourself then? What's the lie? It could be as simple as, you know, thinking you're so important and so vital that you forget your replaceability. And you've let your ego get out of control and say things you probably shouldn't have said or act in a way that was unbecoming of, you know, your higher self. Because you were lying to yourself about your absolute importance. Like, did you not forget you're in like a fucking simulation matrix type mirror? Like this is not like the world is real, but it's not real. It is literally designed to help you see and heal as without and so within and vice versa. That's all the outer experience is for. I remind myself every time I look at my closet and see my closet organized from sleeve length and color that I have my shit in order. That's my outer confirmation every fucking day. My shit's in order. Remind yourself, right? Remind yourself that if the mirror is what it is, then there is something to look at. You know, I did a whole video, and I think it was before the September readings. If you go to the videos tab of the channel, it's the mirror PSA. The mirror PSA. And it addressed, you know, certain things because I realized I'm in a certain mirror. Don't you know, no sooner than I recognized that the mirror and did that video, the outer dynamic changed. I'm in the same environment, but my relationship to different people in the environment completely flipped significantly to where I'm literally interacting with different people. And the people that I was interacting with before has either completely diminished or is bare minimum. And I was talking to them all the time, all day at work. And now I barely see them or interact with them at all. It completely switched. As soon as I recognized the mirror, Spirit was like, thank you, you got it. And as soon as I realigned, like everything switched. Everything switched. Yeah, you've been biting your tongue too much. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to do that. You know, if I'll put it to you this way, the mirror of biting your tongue, right? We're going to say in a literal sense, I'm assuming, you know, that we're going to speak literally and not figuratively speaking, right? Because you could be biting your tongue and not saying certain things. But if you've been literally biting your tongue lately, right, you or anybody else, that is the things you wanting to say are painful, right? The things you want to say are painful. And so Spirit's saying, if you want to say things that are painful, what painful truth have you been ignoring, right? That you've been biting your tongue, ignoring the truth about yourself that's painful. You know, what is it, the painful truth that you're not acknowledging yourself? Maybe you need to tell yourself you're doing a really good job. Maybe you're being too hard on yourself lately. Maybe what you've been telling yourself is, I'm not doing a good enough job. I should be doing more. When Spirit would tell you you're doing the best job, you're doing exactly the job I need you to do. If I needed you to do more, I'd allow you to do more. You can't do more because you're not fucking supposed to. Stop giving yourself a hard time. Right? Maybe you keep telling yourself you don't have things under control the way you want things under control. And it's like, but you do. You're in control of your own energy. You're in control of the words that do or don't come out of your mouth. If you want to say something and it sounds like it in your head, like it could be harsh, then you can call in your angels, your spirits, your guides, your guardians, and be like, yo, I need some words. I need some high aligned words right now. So that I don't feel the need to bite my tongue, right? Hey, Shaylee, how you doing? I love all the diamonds in this chat, y'all. I love it. I love it. Some of my Divine Rebel diamonds just got their green diamonds. They hit their 6-month mark. It's fucking fabulous. I fucking love it. I love it. Y'all bless me. But it's true, you know, like anytime you deal with something, you know, that you're having a difficult time accepting the reality of what it is, like just observe it for what it is and be like, okay, why? You know, there's nothing to get bent out of shape over. It's just like, all right, spirit, fine. I acknowledge the fact that you're putting this in my experience. Let's dig into why. And no sooner than you start to accept the acknowledgement of it, things change, right? Things start to shift because immediately you went from being not open to seeing the mirror to taking a minute and saying, all right, I accept that the mirror is my manifestation. I'm owning my mirror. All right, spirit, let's figure it out. And as soon as you do that, you become open and you will see, you will shift, and then everything else will change around your energy, right? Your newly aligned energy, your newly aligned perspective. So that's it, right? Allow yourself to be at peace with what it is that you're creating and manifesting as an energetic creator, right? You are the creatrix. Allow yourself to accept it. And when you are willing to accept more peace, you will be open to seeing what within the self is creating the disharmony, right? That's negating a peaceful state. You'll be willing to see it, right? And that's a big deal. So let's get some insight. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it awesome though? When the reflection really does start feeling like the inside and you're like, hallelujah. Like, yes. Yes. Yeah, like literally the first 3 cards that comes out. Like, this is why Spirit is so fucking awesome. We got the 5 of Wands with the 8 of Wands and the 2 of Wands. This is the inner conflict. The 5 of Wands is when you're internally conflicted, when your spirit, which is the suit of fire, the suit of Wands, when your spirit is conflicted. Spirit starts to ping you. Hey, that doesn't feel good. Hey, here's a sign or synchronicity to remind you that I'm here. And you take a minute to fucking pause. And you take a minute to pause. Why are you conflicted? Why are you at war with yourself, right? 5 of Wands. Why are you at war with yourself? Because if you're at war with yourself, it's going to create upheaval or battles in your reality. Why are you at war? What is it that you're dynamically upset with on the inside? Where do you have beliefs that are not meshing with your perceived reality, or that you're taking actions that are conflicting for you because maybe you believe in honesty? Maybe that's a part of your moral code and compass. Like, that's your integrity. I'm an honest person. And you feel like you can't be honest. So what about the situation that the perceived situation is making you feel like you can't be honest? What are you afraid of? That you would be going against your integrity, right? That's when this inner conflict sparks. That's when things start to spiral. Yeah. Yeah, and you don't like it. Yeah, and you don't like it. Trust me, I don't either. Like, I understand it. I understand it. I don't like it. It's not my mirror. It might be someone else's mirror. Tanya, I was doing the same job. You know what I mean? Doing the same thing, like working with, intellectually disabled people. And I was pushing medicines. And it wasn't something that I agreed with, right? Like, and if I go, someone else is going to do it, and that's their mirror, that's for their lessons. But I wasn't it was upsetting me on the inside, right? It was upsetting me on the inside. And I started putting a couple things together. You know, who was it? It was one of our angels, Tanya. And she was thinking about moving into hospice because, you know, she was working in a home similar, and they had an older lady in her upper 80s, you know, pass away. But by regulation, by law, she had to try and resuscitate this body with CPR, even though it was really obvious the body was gone. I mean, it's 84-year-old woman or something. And she was gone, but she was forced to do CPR anyway, you know, and, you know, having to do compressions and, you know, the body. And she said it was so wrong. She's like, I don't agree with that, you know, and is considering now transitioning into hospice because they don't do that, right? They don't do that. So, you know, one career may shift into another, you know, one role might shift into another. And the mirror, when you accept the discomfort that you're seeing for what it is, then you can own the fact that it is within your energetic right to ascend, elevate, shift, and find yourself where you're meant to be with your new alignment, right? So, yeah, I do too, Lala. I see people different. I feel different. And it's awesome. Yeah. It's on the divine time, all of it. Yeah. All of it. So, you know, you will end up exactly where you are meant to end up, regardless, you know, of who you are and when you're watching this. Like when you start to trust and align yourself with what feels comfortable for you, what feels good for you, and you let go of the inner conflict, you take a moment of pause, you'll always end up in an energetically better situation, which ultimately results in a better 3D manifestation, right? Yeah, moon flew out in reverse. Like, yeah, the illusion's gone. The childhood wound that tells you accept what you don't like is gone. Because think about that. If we want to go real deep with this in a split second, when we're kids, we don't like certain things about our living situation. We don't like certain things about our parents. We don't like certain things about our siblings. We don't like certain things about the environment we grew up in. We don't like that we grew up in poverty. We don't like that we grew up privileged, right? Far ends of the spectrum, we don't like it, but we're forced to deal with it because we're kids. We don't get to choose what family we're born into as babies. I mean, given it's arguable that you choose your parents and your path before you come here, right? Which I do believe. But you don't, once you're here, right? Once you're here, you don't say, oh, spirit, yeah, redo. Like, nope, redo. Like, it doesn't work that way. You're going through certain wounds and certain cycles because you were meant to overcome them, right? So as children, we get put in situations that we don't like. We're conflicted with it, and yet we have to deal with it. And that's the biggest wound, that we're not in control. That's the illusion, that we're not in control, when we are. When we are. We're absolutely in control. It might sound crazy, especially because we've got adopt here. Think about that. I said adopt might be a synchronicity for you. So for those of you that this particular thing resonates, like, think about it. You came into this world and you looked around and said, this is not the way it's meant to be. And your energy manifested a situation where you were put up for adoption. Because whatever situation you were initially brought into, you weren't meant to be in it with that energy. Maybe you were born, and there's all kinds of reasons why kids get put up for adoption. Sometimes the mother and the father are serious addicts. And so you're taken out of a situation where you're dealing with addict parents and moved into a different home. Now, that different home might have its own set of problems, but they're not on heroin or meth or crystal, whatever, right? And it's a completely different situation, different problems, but it's not the same vibration. You might have been born into a situation where the woman that got pregnant was a mistress and thought that if she got pregnant and had the baby, that her lover would leave their partner and come to her. And it didn't happen. You know what I mean? All right, Tanya, see, I love you. And, you know, you would have been in a single mother situation or with someone who deals with wild insecurities, right? And is attracted to unavailable partners. And partners who obviously have problems, right, that they're cheating on their spouse. And you went from that situation, being born into that situation with your own energy, manifested a new family. Own set of problems, issues, whatever, but it's not that one, right? The law of relativity is it could have been worse. Universal law of relativity is acknowledging that it could have been worse. When we let go of the illusion that things are not within our control, when they are, it doesn't matter. If you've been here, born for 1 fucking minute, or if you've been here for 90 fucking years, you can recognize the fact that you are in control at any time. And it's a miracle when you do. You're like, oh my God, instead of fearing taking ownership, fearing taking responsibility, no, it's got to be everything else. It's got to be everything else. The world is fucked up. People are fucked up. It's everybody else being fucked up. It's not me. It's not me. It's them. We're afraid to take ownership when you're like, wow, there is fucked up people in the world. And yeah, things are fucked up in the world. And you know what? I keep associating with it. Because there's also healed people in the world. There's also successful people in the world. There's also straight edge people in the world, right? Or sober people in the world. Or people who can enjoy a drink on a weekend or a drink at a dinner and not go overboard and not have alcohol in the house and bring it home. It's just out the house once in a blue moon thing. Those people exist too. It all exists. You're dealing with whatever it is you chose to manifest. Once you recognize the illusion, the 10 of coins, like you literally took control of your manifestation. Once you accept responsibility for your own actions and your own manifestation and your own behavior and all of that, you own it. This is my manifestation. I'm the creator. I create my reality. As soon as you fucking own it, you unlock 10 of Pentacles energy, because now if you own it, then you create your own quote unquote luck. Luck doesn't exist. Actual luck does not exist. You can't say, oh, well, I have bad luck. Oh, well, I just have bad luck. I'm unlucky. All the worst things in life happen to me. Well, your energy might be pretty shitty. You change your energy and I'm sure your luck will change. It's no different than someone who is taking complete ownership of the choices they're making in life, and then they start, fucking off or not valuing what they have, and all of a sudden they lose everything, and it's because they didn't feel deserving of it. It's not because they were unlucky. They didn't feel deserving on it. On some level, guilt eats at the self. Resentment eats at the self. Self-sabotage will fucking do exactly that. Low energy is low energy. If you accumulated a bunch of things out of fear, at some point, your fear of losing all of the things you accumulated is going to cost you exactly that. Yeah. There you go, Lala. Hey. Whatever beautiful little girl you end up finding would be blessed. Absolutely blessed. Counting her lucky stars, right? My gosh. True facts. Yeah, the Warrior of Wands. That's your inspiration. The Warrior of Wands? Look at this. I know, I need my card thing. That's Athena-like energy. Athena is a strategist, and she's defensive war. Where Aries or Mars energy is aggression, initiating war, Athena's energy won't start the war, but will finish the war. It's defensive. When we are in our Knight of Wands energy, our warrior of the light, right? Warrior of fire is warrior of the light energy. We will not stand down to darkness. Will not take a knee and surrender to the dark. And the more we fight, the brighter we shine, and the darkness has no choice but to recede, to retreat, to back off. The darkness can only infringe upon you as much as you allow yourself to dim. So stay in your integrity. Stay in your alignment. Don't let yourself be conflicted within. Don't buy into that. Don't buy into the fact that things are beyond your control. No, it's within your control. 100%. And when you own that, your light will shine 10 times brighter right off the bat. Right off the bat. In the mirror, right? Spiritually speaking, what do you think the Big Bang was? Your light could be the size of an infinitesimal speck, immeasurably small, and the darkness is heavy and all around you. And you could click in 1 minute and say, nah, bitch. And boom, your light just breaks free. It just breaks free. And the dark has no other option but to retreat. Darkness cannot exist where light exists. It doesn't matter what kind of low you've hit. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the dark. It doesn't matter. Your dark could be immeasurably small and break out and shine so fucking bright that the darkness don't even know what hit it, and life changes. Life changes. Everybody that was in your life before is gone. Everybody that held you down before is gone. Everybody that made you upset before is gone. All those situations, those impoverished situations, those impoverished places are gone. Because your light just bust the fuck out and said, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, your light just showed up and remembered what the fuck it was. So don't ever feel like it's too late or you're too far gone or that you cannot be saved. Being saved is a fucking choice. It's a choice that you make. Period. Period. Don't tell me that you can't learn to function in the world. Whether you're neurotypical or neurodivergent, or if you're of sound mind, or you have a different mind, right? Maybe you are traditionally thinking, you're like a regular human and you feel all your emotions and process things, quote unquote, normally. Maybe you're autistic. Maybe your brain wraps its head around things differently. Maybe you process things differently. Maybe you're a sociopath. Maybe you're a psychopath. Maybe you don't feel certain emotions. It doesn't mean you can't learn how to manifest the best for yourself in response to the people around you. Because even as a sociopath, you can manifest people that care. You can be aligned with a mission that matters, that changes the world for the better. And because your emotions don't get into the way, you can get shit done and surround yourself with positive people who enforce your ability to create. Just because, you're labeled a certain thing does not mean that you can't master your own energy and your mirror and your own manifestation. There is not a single person too far gone, not one. So if you're watching this and you feel like it's impossible, I would ask you to reconsider that, because you done here. You done got yourself here and manifested this message. Something in you knows if you're here. Something in you knows that your light's not out. It's not out. It could be immeasurably small, but it's not out, or you wouldn't have manifested this. You know what I mean? All right. The moon again and Hanged Man again. So double Piscean energy. Right? We had double Pisces energy for the charms. The moon came out. It came out in the charms. It came out in the Icarus Tarot. It came out in the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. Triple moons. Piscean energy might be strong. You might want to really get into the understanding of your moon sign and the different things associated with the moon, like the nodes, north node, south node. Those are the directions the poles of the moon are facing when you were born. Those are the lunar nodes. So you might have a moon in Pisces and have a north node, which is the north pole of the moon, aiming at Scorpio, and have the south pole of the moon aiming at Taurus. You might have a moon in Aries, but have your north or south node pointing at Pisces and be integrating the polar sign of Virgo, right? Because the opposite of Pisces is Virgo. That's the integration. Taking the steps, being meticulous, cleaning it out the right way, spiritually speaking. If you haven't prayed in a while, pray. Pray. Get down to the bones with yourself. Get real deep. What have you built yourself on? What is your structure, right? The synchronicity of bones. What is your structure? What integrity gives you strength? I love you, Lala. I love you so much. Yeah, especially because we've got Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces right now. As those two planets slowly get closer together, it's going to be wild. Given they're not going to meet exact in Pisces, which, to be fair, thanking the cosmic gods for, because that would be fucking brutal. They're going to get real close, I think 4 or 5 degrees from each other, but Neptune's going to click into Aries before Saturn catches up, which will be a different kind of interesting, but I would not want Saturn and Neptune in Pisces exact together. That could wait for another lifetime. I don't feel like doing it this one. Oh, but yeah. Neptune, I'll put it this way. Side note astrology. Okay. Neptune in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces conjunct is like the epitome of Big Brother. The epitome of Big Brother. And we're going to really feel that as they get close to each other. But Neptune is going to click into Aries first. And so there is going to be a major shift before that actually happens, right? Because if Saturn and Neptune conjuncted in Pisces, it's bad enough that there's like people on the other end of our phones, like listening to what we talk about to like process what marketing ads we should be seeing and, you know, the algorithm and everything else. Like it's bad enough. We've got people like spying in our phones and all kinds of shit already. But like Saturn and Neptune conjunct to me is the epitome of being openly watched and being told it's for a good reason when it's for power and control, right? That they would have some kind of reason to believe that it would be the best thing for everybody, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe the reason would be to prevent crime, to lower crime, that we want to know where everybody is at all times so that we can track criminals and prevent crimes, or even if it was for human trafficking, right? So that we know when children go missing and with who and when and where. And really, they're not actually doing any of that stuff. That's just how they sold it to the public, but the reality is, they're using it to track certain people that they feel would put their power at risk, tracking certain individuals' movements and making sure that they never elevate out of their shadow, right? That we're trapped in self-undoing and illusion, which is the shadow of Piscean energy, right? And the pain of Saturn. So I'm actually really, really glad that we're not dealing with that this lifetime. But yeah, double Pisces energy, things going on right now. This message, definitely owning the manifestation, right? Definitely owning the manifestation. Yeah. I read the inner child as the IC line, the third, fourth house cusp, the Imam Coli, however you want to pronounce it. Cole. Whatever. I call the IC line the inner child. Mine's Virgo. I have a Virgo IC line. And I have a Pisces midhaven. Yeah. Although I don't have any Piscean placements. I have Estrella, but I don't have any major planetary bodies in Pisces. I have Estrella, which, to be fair, I don't mind because I really like Estrella's energy. It's Estrella. The best way to describe Estrella's energy in your chart would be, I always kind of describe it as like that river of diamond white light that kind of washes through and heals things. It has that kind of archetypal energy to it. Wherever you have Estrella in your chart, that's where you do like really deep white light diamond energy washover, like clean that out. Me having it on my midhaven, is it a surprise that this is what I do for a living? I talk about healing and helping people heal for as a path, right? It's my career and reputation house. Yeah, these two things coming out, like, learn to have faith. It's not about praying and hoping. It's about faith and really taking time to see the mirror, right? The Hanged Man is a divine pause. If you're feeling like you're stuck somewhere, you're stagnating somewhere, you feel stuck. Why? Why do you feel stuck? Why I have this responsibility, I have that responsibility, I have this to do and that to do, and these people and blah, blah, blah. I was just listening to Robert Phoenix, and he was going over the star of the day. And the star of the day, it wasn't yesterday that he did it on Thursday. I think it was Wednesday's star of the day. But he was talking about this guy, and I forget, but he was someone who actually inspired, or Tony Robinson took his course. But the guy, and I'm not condoning what the fuck he did, he eventually had to go back and fix what the fuck he started. But he had a wife and kids and a home, and just was working. I think he was working at a car dealership or something. He was doing some kind of sales position, and just walked out the job one day and ended up driving all the way to California and just started a whole new life, whole new identity, like went by a different name, everything, just because he felt called and pulled. And he ended up doing huge lectures and literally inspired people like Tony Robinson because he was called to do it and given. When everything was said and done, he did go back and start to make things right from a spiritually legal perspective with his wife and kids. But when you're called to shift and move, don't tell me you're stuck. You're never stuck. You're never stuck. You know, listening to the Leo King and Rob Lopp was living under a bridge figuring out his path and purpose. You know what I mean? Like homeless and living under a bridge figuring it out. I spent time living in my cars. 3 different cars for that matter. Spent time living in 3 different vehicles figuring my own self out, my path and purpose. Quit my corporate fucking job and ended up in a van. I bought a van and was living in my van. Like, you know, you just have to trust that if you're in divine discomfort, it's divine. It's uncomfortable for a reason, right? Yeah, I bet it has, Lala. I bet it has. I bet it has, because naturally, like Pisces, I see with a Virgo midhaven, the inner child is the root or the foundation of the self that creates, right? So having a Pisces IC line naturally puts you in alignment with spirit, whether it's the light or the dark. And so as you manifest certain things in your reality, it is literally spirit taking the steps, whatever needs to be done in that very meticulous manner, right? That Virgoian perfect manner where your soul is not fucking up ever. You know, which is interesting with Virgo and Pisces IC lines. Like mine's the opposite, right? Where my inner child is meticulous. It looks for every detail, right? No detail is too small and comes out in very teaching. Teaching it's what I'm known for. Our inner child is always aligned with spirit. The undoing of the darkness in other people, which ultimately stems from undoing of the darkness within yourself first. Right. And you, by reputation, naturally, Virgo midhaven will start to take the steps, right? Not missing a beat. Something interesting, right, about Pisces and Virgo polarity. Which is interesting because Virgo and Pisces in the real world, they're probably the least likely to get along. The least likely to get along, but they both represent a certain stage of mastery. Like Pisces is the mastery of the process of its entirety, right? Where Pisces is the last house of the zodiac, but Virgo is the mastery of the building or the foundation, right? Virgo is the first half underneath self, right? Underneath what we see, Virgo is a level of mastery. And so, you know, you put a Pisces and a Virgo in a room together, Pisces is more likely to be disorganized. They're more likely to go with the flow and be down for whatever. They're more likely to sit and chill and listen to music and, you know, not necessarily care if the shoes aren't perfectly on the rack. But a Virgo will be like, you can't just leave your shoes on the floor. Like they will drive themselves fucking crazy. They will drive themselves fucking crazy. Very different. Very, very different. All right, so that was heads up number 2. We're going to do heads up number 3, right? 3 readings. We're going to do heads up number 3. Let me get these cards up. All right. And all right. Okay. Okay. So heads up number 3. We're going to be using the Wisdom of the Oracle, the Mythic Tarot, as well as Sacred Power and Sacred Mirrors reading oracle cards. Now, the Sacred Mirrors deck does contain nudity in it. So if that's not your thing, like I'm giving you the heads up now. There's naked people in there. They naked. Okay. They're naked. So moving firstly with Pineapple Charming. Again, those charms from reading, the charms from reading 2 are going to stay on the side, just like the charms from reading 1. And we're going to pull all fresh charms. Oh, it's 1, 2, 3 right now. It's 1:23 p.m. where I'm at. All right. Thank you, Pineapple Charming. All right, so we've got a couple. We've got, where's my pin board? We've got a Mortar and Pestle. Okay. We've also got the White Cat. Isn't astrology fabulous? I fucking love astrology. It makes so much sense. It really does. I've also got my candy cane. So the holiday season might be significant for you, or you just might be known for candy canes, right? And we've also got a button. Where is it from? Button. Who's got the button? Where is that from? Oh, button. Who's got the button? Isn't it like one of those old Disney movies? Like, what the fuck? Literally saw the button. That's what I heard. Button. Who's got the button? What kind of button, Spirit? What kind of button we talking about? Oh my God. Could be Benjamin Button. I don't know. It don't have to be a button, literally. You may feel like a really old soul in a young body, okay? Or vice versa. You might be old as hell in your body and feel like you don't know shit. Or feel young as hell, right? You might still be 19, 20 years old inside your head, but your body's like, dude, you 90. Oh man, I'll stop. And then we've got 2 of the micro cards here. We've got the 2 of spades and the 8 of diamonds. Tarot equivalents are the 2 of swords and the 8 of pentacles. So this is indecision, or being between a rock and a hard place with the work that needs to get done, right? The efforts that need to take place. For charms, letters, the only letter we have is a blue Z. So whenever a single letter ends up being pulled, that's an initial. Okay, first or last name, but it is most definitely a Z. Okay. And then for zodiac signs, I've got Capricorn and Pisces. Okay. Capricorn and Pisces. So those could definitely be significant to your chart or the different energies going on in those signs right now. Okay. So let's see. Scared, please. What heads up? What heads up are you given Whoever's drawn and resonating to reading number 3. I'm seeing some interesting imagery. It's almost like they've known it all along. Like they've known it all the while, like divinely mischievous, like someone who's sitting there like, like really proud of themselves. I'm just getting this. This energy, like, yep, I knew it. Oh, all right then. Let's see. No place like home and exchanging gifts. Tribe is on the bottom. Happy, happy is on top. All right. I'm hearing somebody clicked into serious alignment. Okay. Happy, happy on top, especially with the egg having the keyhole there, the tribe being on the bottom. With these cards coming out, no place like home is being in alignment with your higher self. It is literally the house raised higher above the ground, and the light is on. It is shining through the door and the windows, right? To where spirit pops out and literally is exchanging a gift with you. That's some kind of blessing. We've also got double 8s, right? Because 26 breaks down to an 8, and obviously 8 is 8. And so that's, ooh, imagine is under that. Serendipity is under that. Yo. Regeneration is under that. I can't even look anymore. Like spirit doesn't even want me to look no more. We're going to leave it right there. This is serendipitous. This is the achievement of some dream. The achievement of some wish, you know, like almost like if you take, you know, the culmination of the last 2 messages, and the different energies that came through, it's almost like acknowledging that when you own your energy like that, and you recognize that anything is possible simply by trusting in spirit and the alignment of your own self, that you won't cross certain borders, like healthy boundaries, because your old manifestations of misalignment are there when you cross those healthy boundaries. I feel like this is a major blessing. Especially in regards to like momentum with the 5-0, right? Card 50. And card 27 in order to close a chapter or a book for good, right? Because once the 9 passes, it's the 10, and the 10 is a simultaneous ending of the old with a new beginning in place, right? I feel like this is being so at home within the self, so comfortable inside the world that you've created, that spirit unlocks some awesome shit, and most likely helps you connect with your tribe, your high aligned tribe, your soul tribe in a different way. Let's get some insight. Let's get some more insight. The Mythic Tarot here. Insight, please, in the highest good of all, spirit. Yeah, there there's some major transformations. I'm watching the cards as I cut them. Lots of clarity, like dream manifestation stuff. You know, this is about knowing all of the work that you've done and having it all be worth it. You know, like when you're studying for an exam and you're taking notes and you're taking meticulous notes and you're going through everything and you've been note taking and studying your notes, right? And you finally go in to take the test. And because you are so on point with the notes you took in the process leading up to it, you ace the fucking test. Like, fucking nail it, right? And not only did you nail the test, you got the extra credit. And the teacher is just so impressed. You know, Spirit is just so impressed because you did such an amazing fucking job. And it's because you took the time, right? That 8 of Pentacles energy, that 8 of Diamonds energy. It's because you took the time to be meticulous with your fucking notes. That there was no way you could fail because you literally put in the time and effort to ensure beyond a doubt that you were going to ace that test. And so you did. And so you did. That's the kind of energy I'm picking up on. This is a mastery of spirit here. Yeah, mastery of spirit and will. Right? King and Ace of Wands on the bottom in the cut. Mastery of spirit and will. That you can manifest everything with enough willpower, right? Yeah, 8 of Wands. Did this come out for every reading? The 8 of Wands came out in I think all of the decks that I used. All of the readings. 8 of Wands came out. That is Sagittarian energy. That is Sagittarian energy. Jupiter. Potentially even Jupiter in Sag. That's some manifestation shit right there. Spirit's letting you know. Spirit's letting you know. What else, please? Clarities. There's the King of Wands again. Complete the world. Okay. 6 of Pentacles is on the bottom. I just heard you are worthy. That's why the Emperor is giving it to you. The Emperor being spirit, right? Jupiter, Zeus, with his lightning bolts, that's Zeus. Okay, the mythic tarot is really strongly based off of Greek mythologies, right? Greek and Roman mythologies. And we got the Knight of Swords on the bottom. Okay. So the duality, right? Because the Knight of Swords in this deck is indicative of Gemini and energy. Okay. Anytime it's Gemini energy, the twins show up. And so this is a communication going on within the self, right? And it's acknowledging that you've been put with all of the synchronicities and alignments that you've been getting. You've been given a lot of options. And it's like asking Spirit for the best option, and Spirit saying this one is the best option, and it's pointing to a certain cup, right? Please, Spirit, like give me a sign, give me the right path, like show me which option to choose. And so Spirit says this one. choose this option. And yet, the Five of Swords is there with the Emperor. And it's almost like receiving this message in your head that says, you can't have that. You can't have that cup. You can't actually take that option. That's not really an option. But the divine feminine, right? The high feminine, this is Hera. The divine feminine said, no, choose that option. You want the highest option? You want your highest good path? Choose that option. And something inside the head says, no, I can't have that option, right? No, I can't have that option. The Five of Swords. It's like you're being disciplined. Like, no, that's not possible. That's out of reach. I can only choose that option if I'm like an angel, but I'm no angel. I'm not perfect. I can't have that. I'm not perfect enough to have that. But the Emperor says, but you can choose whatever you want. You asked which option, so take it. It's like an extreme example, but a potential example would be hitting the lottery. Well, I'll never actually hit the lottery. I'm just a nobody. Like, I don't deserve to win the lottery. Like, why would I win? Out of anybody who could win, like, why would Spirit pick me to win? I'm no angel. You know, I'm not perfect or meant to have it. But Spirit's like, you asked which step was in your highest good, and your guidance system told you to buy a lottery ticket. So why would you not go and buy the ticket? $2 says you're worth it. You know, but you're like, no, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to actually hit the lottery. I'd rather just fantasize about the lottery and dream about it, but I know I'll never actually win. Well, I'd sit here and argue with you. You can't win if you don't play. Okay? You can't win if you don't play. And even if you don't win, what you're doing, getting a lottery ticket, is making certain other dreams for other people come true in divine time and alignment for them with their lessons, whether they're high or low. And there's a divine service in it. So at the very least, you can feel grateful for being called to service, because maybe you don't hit the lottery, but maybe you trust Spirit, and maybe you bump into a different kind of lottery at the store. Maybe you bump into someone who's priceless for you. God knows the Leo King was just talking on the video he was doing about the Ten of Swords, where he was completely spiraling out into the dark, and an intuitive medium literally said, here, you need these, and gifted him a tarot deck and said, you're intuitive and you're psychic and you should be doing this. And he never really thought of it ever to do that before then, but meeting that woman at that time, that random ass place, literally turned him into the Leo King. He would not be the Leo King if he didn't meet that person, and she didn't say what she said at the time she did and give him what she gave him. So you don't know, like, just because you don't feel like you're meant to hit the lottery doesn't mean you're not meant to go play it, though. Right? You asked for what choice, what option. And so your inner heart space gave you the first step. The rest is unknown. So just take the first step. Choose it. Right? You don't have to know or assume you know why you're being guided to do certain things. All you have to know is you were guided and to trust it. Joy and happiness and contentment come from deep within the self. Knowing that nothing will ever happen to you that is not for your healing, your self-awareness, your ability to become the creator of your life in some which way, shape, or form. Joy, abundance. When you choose one cup, 3 cups show up. Right? All you had to do was choose the first cup. And when you chose the first cup, it made more. And now 3 more cups showed up. And you know it. This is Persephone, the high priestess. One of only 2 individuals that I know in mythology that habitually cross the borders between realms. Persephone is one and Hecate is the other. This is knowing that you can go back and enjoy whatever it is you want to go back and enjoy at any given time. And you're not going to lose out on anything if you do. You can go back and forth and nothing is missing. You just gain more experience. Right? Persephone is not missing out on life because she's spending time in the underworld. She's experiencing a whole different reality while she's in the underworld. And she doesn't lose her experience in the underworld when she's up there with life and the living. You don't lose anything. This is about transcending the idea that you can't go back, or that what is different about it is going to be less than what it was. Like, you can ascend, you can transform, you can manifest whatever you want to manifest. And you can go back to previous manifestations with high energy and enjoy it differently, but the same, but different, right? It's same, but different, but still same. Same, but different, but still same. You know, so it's like, when you choose to elevate on the path and you choose to manifest new for yourself, and the universe blesses you with things, anything in misalignment will always be on another level that is unable to reach you, touch you, interrupt you, right? The darkness cannot enter where the light is. But the light can infinitely enter where the darkness is and still be the light. You don't have to go back to letting the darkness take a stronghold over your light. Like, some people can't go back to their childhood, you know, communities, their childhood towns or whatever, because there's so much pain there. They can't go back there. It's painful for them. And so they don't, you know. But if you could reach a point in your energy that you could go back to your hometown and you could sit in that mom and pop shop, that restaurant, and eat your favorite dish that you grew up on and enjoy it fully and leave and not have that energy affect you anymore, like, that's a different level of mastery. When your previous triggers or really deep residual wounds no longer affect you. When you reach that kind of energy, that kind of inspiration, that kind of willpower to create whatever it is you want to create without the fear of triggers, that is when you complete your healing. The world with the 9 of Wands, that's when you complete a Chiron cycle. When you don't have to fear the trigger. You know, it's like an alcoholic being able to sit there in front of a bottle of alcohol and not have a drink or miss it, and can still be around the environment, can still be around the people drinking that they've been around forever, their friends that still drink. They could still do that, but they don't have to sit and have a drink. They can say, no, it's okay. And they can enjoy the experience, same, with their friends drinking, but different, because they're in a higher energy field. It's not affecting them. They're just shining their light and letting their friends know you can have a good time and not drink. right? I'm here, I'm having a good time with y'all, and I'm not drinking. It's no different, right? That a person would be able to stand outside at work with their friends, you know, the smokers crowd. They go outside on breaks and smoke their cigarettes. They can go out and have conversations with those people, but they quit smoking cigarettes. And they could be around their friends. They could be around their coworkers, the smokers that are still smoking, and not bum one, not ask for one, decline one if they offer one. Hey, do you want a cig? No, I'm good. I quit. You sure? Yep, I'm good. Right? As different examples that you could be around the trigger and not feel guided to lose your shit. That you could hold the line, so to speak. That you could hold your energy. That's when Spirit says, you're ready. You're ready for the gift. You're at home in yourself. You're at peace with yourself. There is no place like home. You feel home inside yourself. That you don't feel the need to buckle to what other people expect of you, what other people desire of you, for you. It doesn't matter what anybody else wants. What do you want? Well, I want that bowl of spaghetti and meatballs from Rose's Diner one more time. So you go back and you go get that spaghetti and meatballs that Rose makes better than everybody else you've ever fucking eaten. You go and hang out with your friends and you watch football, or you go do whatever and you hang out. You go dancing, right? Maybe you and your friends go dancing and y'all drink and go dancing. Well, maybe this time you go dancing, but you don't drink. You can still enjoy all the things you want to enjoy without having to compromise your energy, right? And Spirit says, that's the key. That's the key. You've healed Chiron, right? Chiron's symbol is literally, looks like a key. That's the key. That's healing. That's having healed. Sacred power cards first, and then we'll end with sacred mirrors. What guidance, please? Now you feel the tugs. Yeah, we got change. Change in a chunk. This one flipped up, so I'm going to take this one. I don't know what the others are. I'm not even looking. I'm not even looking. Change. Right? And that's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about change. We're talking about seasons. We're talking about Persephone going from the underworld to the world of the living, right? This is talking about going from season to season, right? Fall to spring and the whole cycle of it all. Talking about change and how change, it's necessary. It's necessary. The energetic shift, right? The energetic shift. It's card number 6. Okay. And you know what? If you want, you can screenshot it. I'll hold it up real quick. So you can go back and reread it if you want to. Okay. Change. New beginnings bring challenges. Adapt to your surroundings. Like the wind, the universal spiral symbolizes change and growth. The spiral is a sacred symbol that reflects the universal pattern of growth, evolution, the goddess, fertility, and life force energy. Just like the changing seasons, new life is formed after a period of hibernation. Plants know when to shed parts of themselves, dropping their leaves, branches, and seeds at the precise moment. Their natural rhythm is synchronized with the environment. Walking down the road of change allows you to see where you've been and where you're going. This perspective can be confronting, but one needs to recognize past issues and mistakes to make better choices. These learning experiences require you to let go and surrender to your own divine will. Beginnings are often described as painful endings. Accepting your current position in life can offer powerful realizations about your current circumstances. Focus on life changes now. If you insist on making a decision, be patient and seek professional advice to secure solid foundations before the final phase. Right now, there is change in the air. You are moving quickly into the next cycle of your life. This acceleration may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is essential for your progression. Being uncomfortable allows your soul to expand and grow. Surrender and let go of any fear you have surrounding the change required to ensure a smooth transition. Changing your circumstances in career, habits, family, finance, relationships, locations, ideas, and beliefs are all possible now. Be open to possibilities. Just like an eclipse, severe change can be perceived as a negative influence, but in reality, it often leads to a more productive, beneficial outcome. Adapting to your new surroundings may take time. Relieve any anxiety by removing your resistance to universal flow. When the winds of change slow down and the dust begins to settle, reflect how far you have come. The affirmation is, I move through life with ease, reflecting on each learning experience with love and understanding. I surrender my fear to the universe with freedom. I surrender my fear to the universe with freedom. Life, right? We were talking about never being stuck, right? We were talking about never being stuck. We don't have to be stuck in any energy. We can go to familiar places and be around familiar people and not be stuck in the same energy. We can change our energy all the time. We can let our energy be so beautiful and so big and so vibrant that it changes the energy around us. It changes the energetic vibration of people that we meet. Change is life. How the fuck would we get a tree if we didn't have the seed change? How the fuck would we get the seed if we didn't have the flower change into the fruit? Change. It's kind of necessary. In all aspects of life, we talk about the spiral, like spirit creates in a spiral. We always revisit things and we see it from a different perspective. Because the spiral, no matter where you are in the spiral, you could be looking at the same point, right? The same center point from here on this part of the spiral, and then revisit it, but you're back here and the perspective's just a little bit different. The view is a little bit wider. You can see things just a little bit differently. So you're going to revisit energy all the time, but it's always going to be just a little bit different every time you look at it. It's like having read the same book, your favorite book, a half a dozen times. And then all of a sudden you have this shift in perspective, this shift in consciousness. And now the next time you read that book, it's like you're practically reading a whole new book and you're like, oh my fucking gosh. Oh my gosh. You can actually see the mirror of the characters and what they're manifesting. How their own vibration and why they're doing things they're doing, like, forms the story. And it blows your mind in a completely new way, right? Just because you're seeing things differently. You're looking at the same book with the same words and the same pages and feel like you're reading a completely new story. It's no different. As you change, you can be around the same places and the same people and view them so different. And it can be a grateful experience, an appreciative experience, right? That the universe, spirit, where you've gone with yourself has shifted you in such a way that maybe something that you used to view as painful, used to view as horrible, that now looking at it from a different perspective and revisiting the sight of it, you find gratitude instead. You know? You'll always revisit things, especially when it comes to like people in relationships. Like maybe the first time you look at them, you see them up close and you're just like, yeah, I only see this, right? Narrow vision. I only see this much. Because when you're standing this close to somebody, you can only see what's right here. And then you get a little further and, you know, now you could see maybe their whole face and not just, you know, their nose. And then, you know, you take another step back, you're still looking at them from the same view, but it's a little further back and you're like, wow, I can see their whole shape. Then you see the whole picture of someone. And maybe, you know, the first couple times you look at them, it's not that bad. Maybe you really like what you see. But the more and more you see, maybe it gets really ugly. And they look like the villain of your life. But as you take further steps back and further steps back and further steps back, and you see them from a much wider, broader perspective, they fit perfectly inside the puzzle of all the different pieces that make the complete image what it is. And there's gratitude for them being there, or the balance of the image wouldn't be the same. Wouldn't be the same. If they weren't there, being that little black cloud, the light of the rainbow wouldn't pop against the background the same way. They were meant to be in the picture. You were meant to find gratitude for the placement of them in the greater scheme of things. And you might not see that from a certain point of view, but the more you take a step back and look at it, you can start to understand the purpose of the placement. You know, anybody who creates art understands balance in an image, balance of colors, balance of light and shadow, you know, that makes it beautiful to look at, you know. So this is the Sacred Mirror cards. Again, warning, there's nakedness in this deck. Not all the cards are naked, but there's enough. But there's enough. So let's see, and these cards are huge. Like literally, they're big. Let's see. What card? What card, please, Spirit, from Sacred Mirrors? It's by Alex Gray. On the top of the deck, we've got Asian Man. But the card that flew out is Caucasian Woman. Okay. Which is a synchronicity for me because I was just watching a comedian. I watch a lot of live stand-up. And I think his name was Akash. What's his name? I have to try and find it. Yeah, Akash Singh. Akaash. Singh. And he was talking about white woman privilege. And not just white privilege, but white female privilege. And that's just what I thought of, which is, I guess, well, synchronistic, because I was watching it last night. So then the last 24 hours, and now it's a synchronicity, right? So you might, if you enjoy stand-up, you might want to look him up. There's probably some synchronicities in his bits that you could appreciate, right? The divine humor, right? When the divine comedy of things. He's talking about female white privilege. But anyway, Caucasian woman, and you can screenshot the back if you want to. If my camera will do what it needs to. There we go. Okay. So it says, skin, largest organ of the physical anatomy. Details are individuality. Inner systems exist similarly in all people, regardless of race or sex. Skin makes our differences obvious. Identifying self as other races and sexes, feeling prejudices and sympathies arise. Integrating with our collective human family could represent light skin, light hair, light eyes from the northern hemisphere, white sister, reflect on your history and imagine your future. Is to reflect on caring. Okay. And so this being our light feminine energy. Light feminine, right? Regardless of race or gender, we're talking feminine energy, which is yin, and the light aspect of it being in our high feminine energy, right? Because we can all be in shadow feminine. We can all be that person, right? Shadow feminine, that's empath. When you're in light masculine and shadow feminine, that's an empath. You act in light, but you don't receive it. Light feminine is knowing what you deserve to receive. We're talking about gifts here, right? Here, I'll censor her out just a little bit. But we're talking about this, exchanging of gifts, and even the fairy, right? This Caucasian woman is on the card. Happy Caucasian woman is on the card. It's light feminine, regardless of race and gender. It's light femininity. What do you deserve to receive? Feminine energy is receiving. You deserve to be happy and receive happy. You deserve to receive all the gifts from the divine, all the blessings. Not just some of them, not just the little ones. You deserve all the blessings. The big ones too. This is about being in your light feminine energy and knowing what you deserve to receive. You're unique and authentic. Your feminine light, what you deserve to receive, is unique and authentic. Our differences are obvious. We all receive different things in our light, but it's authentic for us. We can feel prejudice or sympathies towards other people. We could be jealous and envious that they have something that we don't, that they're receiving something that we aren't. Or we can accept the fact that we are absolutely beautiful in our own feminine light, receiving what we are receiving. And that they're all blessings. They're all gifts and always have been. The further you stand back and take a look at the bigger picture of things, even the most horrible of experiences in hindsight can be a blessing, and you can find gratitude for them. God knows I'm grateful for the narcissists that have been in my life, because I wouldn't be here shining my light as bright as I do if I hadn't met them. They're not the villains in my story. In the bigger picture of things, they were perfectly placed, right? I might not have enjoyed certain aspects of living in my car. But in hindsight, it was so fucking necessary. I'm so grateful for that experience. Because I wouldn't be where I am and who I am today if it happened any other way. The view, the picture of my life would not be the same. It was perfectly placed in the painting of it all, right? Metaphorically speaking. That's the beauty about paintings. If you want to, or writing a book, like that's the beauty of it. Like you don't have to say at any given point that imperfect part can't be fixed. Why do you think they call it revision and editing? You don't have to write that sentence and not like it and, oh, well, I guess it's stuck there now. I can't change that sentence. Yes, you can. It's called hit the delete, the backspace button and just retype it. Be happy with it before you move on. You're painting something and you don't like the way the painting's going. You want to change the tone of a certain color. You want to change the way the hair falls across someone's face. You want to change the bird in the tree from having its wings up to its wings down. Like you can change it. Nothing's permanent. So paint your life how you want. Write the story of your life the way you want. Well, Grace, you can't repaint the past. You can't, rewrite something that's already been published. If it already happened, you can't change it. No, you can't change it, but you can perceive it differently. You don't have to look at someone like the villain. You can choose to see them as a blessing in disguise. You can't change the events, but you can change your perspective of it, how you're seeing it. Right? You don't take the paint off the canvas, but you do repaint over it. It will always be there as a part of the process. That you decided that you saw something and didn't really like what you were seeing and decided, you know what, I'm going to change it. And every time you see that bird painted the way you wanted it painted, you'll remember that it was another way and you didn't like it. And you had the power to say, no, I'm changing that to what I like. You don't ever have to be unhappy with anything. Like I was talking to somebody at my work yesterday. I was like, I literally, I can be physically tired. I can be, a little exhausted. My body might have its aches and pains, right, from being on my feet and, whatever. But I don't feel unhappiness anymore. Like it's a superpower. I don't feel unhappy anymore. There were times in my life where I literally cried every day. Every fucking day. I'm not unhappy anymore. I don't even stress out. I'm like, Spirit's got me. It's fine. Whatever is going on, whatever is transpiring, I trust Spirit. I will be open to figuring it out. Spirit will show me why whenever I'm meant to understand why, and I trust everything's happening for a reason. I'm going to keep doing it as I'm guided, following my fuck yes. If it's not a fuck yes, fuck no, not now, not today. No, thank you. And I trust my alignment. I don't stress over things. I don't get upset. I'm not sad. I don't feel it anymore. Sadness, I don't feel it. I feel peace. I feel excitement. I feel joy. I feel wonder and curiosity. I feel love. I feel safe. But sadness, feeling empty, not knowing myself, not feeling whole, feeling like I got to find something out there to fill me because something's missing. I don't feel that. I don't feel that anymore. That was not always the case. This journey is a beautiful one. Know what you deserve to receive and stop telling yourself, no. No, you don't. You're bad luck. You're a fuck up. You always fuck it up. No, you don't. Your old version might have. But who you are today doesn't have to do that. You could have been an alcoholic for 20, 30, 40, 50 fucking years. And decide that if you continue to drink alcohol, it's only going to continue to make your life hard. You're only going to continue to experience things and lose people that you don't want to lose. It sucks. And you're tired of alcohol controlling your manifestation. You're owning your manifestation and you're not doing it no more. You deserve a better experience. You deserve to be loved. You deserve your partner to be excited when you walk in the door. Honey, I'm home. I'm so glad you're home. I missed you. I made your favorite dinner. Oh, I already did this for you. It's already done. You don't even got to worry about it. Let's go relax together. Like, you can experience that life. You can experience someone loving you and thinking the world of you and sticking with you forever. Like, you don't have to continue to choose the things that push people away. You choose the things that push people away because you feel you don't deserve it. You feel like you're a fuck up and all this low energy, and you could change what you deserve to receive. Being in your light, feminine energy. You decide. You decide. Look at the behavior. Look at the thought patterns and be like, God, nothing good comes from you. Whatever that behavior is, nothing good ever comes of choosing that. Fuck it, I'm not choosing it anymore. And anytime that behavior pops up in my head, like, just do it. No, I already definitively chose not to. And it feels good to be inside myself and feel good about who I am, and who I am doesn't choose those things anymore. I don't feel safe. My emotions don't feel safe in the world. My reality doesn't feel safe in the world choosing things that don't result in good results. I don't like being alone. I don't like worrying about this or that. I do like this feeling. Okay, well, this behavior is going to be more likely to manifest what you want than this one. All right, then. You make definitive choices. You create healthy, solid boundaries with yourself. Feel at home in your life. Feel safe in your life. You couldn't pay me to cross my healthy boundaries. Oh, no. Spirit will give me that without having to cross my boundary. Grace, I'll pay you $1 million. Fuck it. I'll give you $100 million if you cross your line. You cross that healthy boundary. $100 million. Cross it. I'm like, that's fine. I'm not crossing it. Spirit will give me that 100 million a different way. I don't have to cross it to get it. If I'm meant to have $100 million, Spirit's going to bring that to me, and I won't have to cross my boundary to do it. That's the kind of trust and faith you've got to have in yourself and the universe, that you drew that healthy boundary. And that's that, because that's your safe feeling. That's your happy feeling. That's your joy. That's your peace. And you're not willing to step away from that on a maybe, on a red flag, on a past experience you've lived a few times, and you're not willing to relive it. That's your power. It's your superpower. The fact that you're in control, that's your superpower. You don't have to feel anything you don't want to feel. You don't have to regret anything. You don't have to learn the hard way ever again. You could just simply marry yourself and feel really, really glad to be your own best partner in this life, that you and your masculine and feminine energy have united, and you've got your back, and you're choosing an alignment to feel good, to feel safe, to feel at peace. That's your superpower. You're in union within the self. That's your superpower. And that's the guidance for heads up. Number 3. So until we next meet, y'all, until we next meet, I love you. My love and support is with you always. Definitely appreciate anybody who takes the time to drop a like on the video or share it out, whether it's with just one friend or whatever. I love you and appreciate you for helping support me in the channel like that. If you feel guided to be a Divine Rebel Diamond with us, get all the perks of being a Divine Rebel, enter into this lovely giveaway I got going on, I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to seeing you in there with Soul Fam. Until next time, guys. Bye.